I created a tiny player in MLB The Show, and I have 5 years to become an all-star. Before that can happen though, I had to get through the minor leagues, so it was gonna take quite a while before I became an MLB player, let alone one of the best. At only 5'5", 150 pounds, I didn't have any power, and I was tired of home run pitches getting caught at the track, but I began to see great results hitting line drives as I led the league in batting average. Pop was definitely my biggest weakness, so it was very encouraging to absolutely square up this pitch and hit a double with my brand new stance. Midway through the year, I was hitting 323, and I felt there was nothing stopping me from getting called up. However, there was a problem. To make this even more challenging, I decided to make myself a two-way player, so in order to move up, I also had to dominate on the mound, and my pitching was far behind my hitting. I needed to learn to control my pitches to avoid getting absolutely embarrassed, but in my first start, I got great results out of my off-speed stuff to get the win for my team. I was at the plate with 2 on in our next game, and I wanted to come up big, driving this pitch way back to the wall, but the outfielder robbed me of my first home run. My warning track power was losing us games, and I was getting frustrated as I looked to redeem myself against Springfield, but once again got robbed. My power was coming along, but I needed to be patient and just help my team win. We were up 4-0, looking to stay undefeated in the series, and this weak hit to right field got past the defender to help my teammate score as I had myself a double. I was still hoping for my first home run, but I cleared the bases with a beautiful gapper into left center field as I added another double to my great day, and my team got a huge win. My gains in the weight room were paying off, and I finally saw results as I waited on the slider, driven high and deep to right field, and over the wall. I finally hit a home run, and my 3 RBI day helped us win our 4th straight. I desperately wanted to move up to AAA, but I got into some trouble on the mound. I was the lowest rated pitcher in the Mariners' entire organization, and I needed to quickly improve to get the call-up I deserve. I tossed a clutch 7 scoreless to help my team complete the sweep. I was on fire with an ERA under 3, and the new power in my bat helped my OPS approach 800. After this game, I realized I had unlocked a ton of new equipment that helped out my stats, and a skill set change got me up to 62 overall, and that was all I needed to take the next step in my career as my manager sat me down and I was promoted to AAA. My new rainbow bat made me even more dynamic at the plate as I could adjust to the speed of AAA with 2 hits in my debut. I needed to continue to hit for more power, so I was happy to pick up my first extra base hit to help Tacoma get the win. I immediately realized that pitching at AAA is much harder than pitching in AA, and I was starting to worry I wasn't ready. However, my team gave me great run support, and I settled down in the 2nd inning. I gave up my shutout in the 5th and was in some trouble as this weak RBI single cut our lead to just 1, but in the end, I showed I belonged in the rotation, holding on for a clutch win. This combo of hitting and pitching helped me become one of the league's top prospects as I was being compared to a very small version of Shohei Ohtani. However, this comparison was a lot of pressure for me, and I fell into a huge slump, losing my confidence as my team was losing games. I was feeling helpless on the mound in our next game, taking the loss, and this lack of confidence followed me into our next series as I was unsure at the plate, and we lost 4 out of our first 5 to Sacramento. I had not been good on the mound and gave up 6 runs to lose the last game of this series as my ERA was suddenly terrible. I needed to wake up and was in danger of being sent back to AA, and I came through, watching this one go over the fence for my first home run at AAA. That home run would help me stick at this level a little bit longer, and a double helped us get on the board and spark us to a comeback win against Sugarland. Then, I put the cap on the season, watching this ball fly deep and gone in the final game of the year, giving the Mariners organization something to be excited about moving forward. I did just enough to stay at AAA in my first professional season, and I knew I had to get better if I wanted to make it to the major league level. However, I plateaued over the next 2 seasons, only getting up to a 70 overall, and maybe that was because over 90% of you who watch my videos aren't subscribed. I needed to become an MLB All-Star in 5 seasons, but we were still in AAA to start season number 4. I needed a spark to save my career, and this home run against the Dodgers helped me get back on track at the plate, but Seattle would never call me up if I also wasn't a good pitcher, and I continued to struggle on the mound in my 3rd year of AAA. Then to my surprise, the Mariners didn't bring me back, but I realized that this was the perfect chance to revive my career, as the Orioles were the perfect fit for me since their best pitcher was only 77 overall. Thankfully, I was right as I focused on improving my pitching and got off to a fast start with Baltimore. However, I was beginning to worry that the success was temporary, giving up an early 3-run shot, but I couldn't waste my team's comeback and refound a groove as I struck out 6 batters and survived the outing. I was closer to the majors than ever, but just one bad start could set me back. I allowed an early run, but I refound my groove with a strikeout, and all I needed was a quick warm-up to take control of the game in one of my best starts ever, striking out a career high of 12 batters. I finally dominated AAA hitting at age 20 2021, and that was all the Orioles needed to see, giving me my first major league call-up. It was my MLB debut, and I was humbled very quickly on the mound. However, my team gave me great run support, and I couldn't let them down, collecting my first strikeout. Lowe got a hit off me in the first, but I got even striking him out in his next at-bat. I was pitching like myself again as I collected 8 Ks in my debut. I showed flashes as a premier pitcher, but my offense was a completely different story, as what I thought was my strength ended up being my biggest issue, and I was struggling to get on base. I was in danger of being taken out of the lineup, but I finally got a pitch to hit and delivered with a double to put runners at the corners. This type of hit would usually give me some confidence, but I was still striking out more than ever. To make matters worse, my second start was rougher than my first, as I watched a home run scale the fence and then had to watch another in the same inning. I had no confidence and took my first loss. I could rebound at the plate in the 9th inning of a tie game and lined a single over the shortstop's head to come up with a clutch game-winning RBI. We were in the 8th inning against LA, and I absolutely crushed a fastball down the middle to pull this one into left field for a double. We were down 9-6 in our next series against Toronto, and even though I was facing a righty, I hit a pitch down the third baseline to score 2 runs on another double. Then I got my first boss challenge. I had never done one of these before, but I just needed a hit to complete it. I was worried that I would fail the challenge on a pop-up, but thankfully this hit got down for a single, and I got a big-time power upgrade. I was up to a 75 overall and was progressing nicely, but I had to keep performing. Unfortunately, I couldn't seem to do this consistently as I fell into a slump, and to my surprise, the Orioles sent me back to AAA. This was very disappointing, but I was in the minors for a long time, so it was the perfect place to revive my bat, and I came back with a no-doubt blast into left field. While I wanted to perform at the plate, my main goal at AAA was to unlock a new skill set to improve and hopefully stick at the major league level. I put up 10 strikeouts in my first start back, and then helped my team complete the sweep as I scored on an 8th inning double. Only a week later, I was back in the show, and I was ready to show the world that I was here to stay, starting with a deep double off the wall against Texas. I helped my team get the win with 3 total hits in my first game back, and I was hitting the ball much harder off the bat while making consistent contact. However, I was on the mound against the Yankees and allowed an early home run, but I had come too far to let this bother me and settled back in with a strikeout. Facing Aaron Judge in the 4th was intimidating, but I got him to swing through a changeup and picked up a huge win. I seriously thought this was going to be an extra base hit against Boston, but it set me up for the biggest play of my career, waiting on the high slider with the bases juiced, and I blew this game wide open with a grand slam. We were approaching the end of our 4th season, and I was feeling really good about my chances of staying in the majors. It was our last game against Toronto, and I wanted to end strong, launching a right field double to put a cap on season number 4. Season 5 was our last chance to become an all-star, but we weren't even guaranteed to make the team out of spring training, as I had to compete for my roster spot. I needed to make consistent contact while showing some power, and that's exactly what I did on this double to the gap against Minnesota. I faced a lefty later in that same game and did damage on a fastball down the middle, giving it a ride and going yard. Obviously, I made the team, and I was close to earning another big upgrade. We opened the season against the Dodgers, and I picked up right where I left off in the spring, hitting a deep drive to left center on my first at-bat for extra bases, but I was thinking more than second base and started my season off with a big-time triple. The clock to become an all-star was ticking, but it really felt like I was having a breakout year as I made Minnesota pay for throwing a high changeup. I was hitting the ball harder than ever, and it kept turning into extra bases, but I also needed to start strong on the mound. The Yankees were no match for me last season, and I was confident going into this start, continuing to see my breaking pitches develop as I picked up 9 strikeouts, and this was enough XP to unlock a new skill set to get up to 79 overall and realize something absolutely game-changing. I had never played Road to the Show before and completely forgot to open equipment packs, so we got to absolutely swag out Scrawny Slugger. These upgrades put my contact ratings in the 90s, and I had everything I needed to become one of the best hitters in my league as I launched a double off the wall. Baltimore had a lot of talented prospects recently, but I was set on being the best as I started this game off with 2 doubles. I was batting third for the Orioles, and their pitchers should have known better than to leave a slider up over the plate, but I made them pay with a deep blast out to left center. Scrawny Slugger had finally broken out, and we had a chance to be more than just an all-star. All 4 of my perks improved my pitching, and this really helped my control as I was starting to realize my elite strikeout ability in this league, and I was the early MVP favorite with an ERA under 3 and an OPS over 900. My curveball had become my favorite pitch, and it helped me collect 9 strikeouts versus the Angels as I became our ace. I didn't have time to play every game, but our dominance only continued through the simulation. We were down 8-0 against Oakland, but I was ready to start a rally, blooping a single into right to score my teammate from second. My team would score 3 more to cut the lead to 4 runs, and I was back up to the plate in the 7th as another RBI would help us come from behind to win it. I continued to bully Oakland at the plate in my next game, and then I posted a 10 strikeout outing against the Astros, which helped me get to 4th place among pitchers in All-Star voting. This was a huge confidence boost, but I realized that I wasn't in the top 10 for shortstop voting and wanted to be an All-Star at 2 positions, so I just kept hitting more doubles, trying to reach that goal. We were facing our former teammate Grayson Rodriguez, and I comically hit 3 doubles off him as he kept leaving pitches up over the plate. I could come up clutch in the 9th with a teammate on 3rd, and these are the moments that make All-Stars as I collected a career-high 4th double of the game to help my team complete the comeback. The All-Star break was here, and we managed to finish 2nd in pitcher votes, becoming an All-Star despite not making it as a shortstop. The All-Star game was a great honor and an even better chance to establish myself as a face of baseball. However, the game did not start how I wanted it to, as Corbin Carroll got a hold of one and it cleared the fence. My embarrassment at the All-Star game had me thinking about shutting up the haters by winning an MVP, and I really felt like I was the frontrunner as I simmed my first start out of the break, and it was another quality win. I had become one of the best hitters in the entire league, and this was exciting as I kept delivering extra base hits for my team. I was doing a better Shohei Ohtani impression than even the man himself and led my team in hits, doubles, and OPS. We were closing out our season versus the Guardians, and I was looking to solidify myself as an MVP finalist. Down 3 in the 3rd, I drove this one deep to left center, watching it fall just before the wall for a 2-run RBI double. I was looking to end my season on top, but then for the first time in my whole career, I was intentionally walked, which helped Cleveland come back and win this game. My lack of home run power really showed in the second half of the season, and I finished with 71 RBIs, but I felt I had a real chance at the MVP with a very high OPS and an absurd 2.2 ERA. Unfortunately though, power matters, and we couldn't place in the top 3 for MVP, but a big positive is that we did manage to win the AL Cy Young at only 23 years old.